Hey there, thanks for listening and welcome to the Marketing Matchmaker podcast. If you're looking to grow your business, increase your revenue, and scale your impact, all while staying true to who you are and the people you serve, this is the show for you. I'm Jennifer Tamborski, digital marketing strategist, fractional CMO, and founder of Virtual Marketing Experts. My team and I work with 6- and 7-figure coaches, consultants, and online entrepreneurs who are tired of playing the guru game of one-size-fits-all marketing. They're ready to create a business and marketing strategy that actually builds relationships with their ideal clients, creates massive shifts in their business, and rapidly increases their revenue. As your marketing matchmaker, I'm going to help you find the perfect marketing match for you. This show will teach you how to reach your ideal client, connect with your audience, build that perfect relationship, and generate more revenue. All through a process I like to call dating your ideal client. Now let's go have some fun. Hey there, welcome back to Marketing Matchmaker. We are actually in the final episode in this Facebook ads series. I started this episode because I was getting this series anyway, because I was getting a lot of questions to drill down a little bit farther into Facebook ads. What's working, what's not working, why you want to use it, how you want to use it. And so I decided to do this series in this podcast to really kind of give you a dive into it. Here's the thing, there's a lot that goes into Facebook ads. If you've noticed, we've now done 4 episodes of the Facebook ads series, and I could probably do 10 or 12 more and still have more content to talk about. That's because Facebook is an ever-changing, ever-evolving platform. This is one of the things that I did want to point out though today. Facebook isn't the only platform out there. It's not the only way to market. And while it is a fabulous way to market, there are other things that you want to look at in your marketing. And I will dive into some more of the different types of paid traffic and the what, why, and how of those in other episodes. But for the last part of this Facebook ads episode, I really wanted to just highlight a few more tips and tricks and suggestions about Facebook and the best ways and things that you want to make sure that you do and that you avoid forgetting about. Some of these things are going to be related to some of the earlier episodes. So if you are missing a piece or feel like you're missing a piece, head back to one of the earlier episodes in this series to really dive into like the different pieces of Facebook ads. I really did highlight all of the little pieces that you want to look at when you're building a Facebook ad. This episode is really just the last piece of the, hey, don't forget about these things. So first, I wanted to talk about allowing Facebook to do the heavy lifting. The thing is Facebook has created this algorithm that really does make it so that they are doing the heavy lifting for your ads if you allow them to. That's their thing, right? They want you to allow them to do the heavy lifting. So what do I mean by that? Things like when you're setting your campaign and you're wondering like, how much do I spend? And generally, when we're testing audiences, we spend a minimum amount per ad set. So for instance, if we have 3 different audiences, those would go into 3 separate ad sets, and we'd run about $10 a day per ad set into that audience. Now, there's a couple of ways to go about doing this. You can do A, which is design it out so that you do put $10 a day exactly into each audience. If you're starting completely cold and are wondering if these audiences are even viable, that may be a good route to go about doing it. There is a second way though. A couple of years ago, Facebook came out with what they called campaign budget optimization. And that is basically setting your overall budget for the campaign for the day. So if you have $30 today to spend. You put that in the top line, and then Facebook doles out the money to the audiences based on what is happening with each of these audiences. That really allows Facebook to do the heavy lifting on that. So they're able to try different audiences at different times and really allow the algorithm to do its job. There are pros and cons to this. The pros really is that Facebook is going to find that audience much faster for you. However, the con is to this, if you are really, really sure that your ideal client is follows Tony Robbins, and you know that's all you know about them, and then you try a couple of other audiences against the Tony Robbins audience, they may not get enough money to find out if they're actually in that audience, right? Because Facebook's going to determine where that money goes. What that really means for you is that during the testing phase, when we're testing, I generally like to spend $10 a day per audience to test them for 3 to 5 days to see what kinds of results we get in each audience. And then when we find winners, and this could go on for a little while, right? Like we may get 2 winners out of that. Like 2 of them performed really well. We know the third one didn't. We turn it off, and we may try another one and another one and another one. And we keep doing that. Once we have a good 5 audiences that we're getting results from, we then throw that into a campaign budget optimization and let Facebook do the heavy lifting from there. That's an option. So we do that a lot in our company as we're testing audiences, because we don't always know if Facebook is going to dole out the money in the way we think it should. However, if you're doing your Facebook ads on your own and you're just not sure, I would suggest allowing Facebook to do the heavy lifting for you. The other thing that goes along with that, they're different types of ads. So they do have a process, and I know I went over this in an earlier episode, but just a reminder that they do have the ad called dynamic ads. And so what that really means is that you're putting in the copy and the image or video or whatever that creative is and allowing Facebook to determine the winner. It puts it out in whatever variations it feels will work, and then it lets you know which one was the winner. That also can save time and money to allow Facebook to do that heavy lifting on that side, because a lot of Facebook ads is all about testing. And so the faster you can do testing, the better. Allowing Facebook to determine the winners can really help to speed up that process. The last piece of letting Facebook do the heavy lifting is audience determination. And we did kind of go over this in the last episode of how to break down your audience and really choose your audience based on who they are, what they like to do, who they connect with. All of those pieces really determine your audience. Now, one of the things that Facebook has been leaning towards is having you use broad audiences. So, for instance, instead of your audience being women from 25 to 35 that follow Brene Brown, now Facebook is basically saying, just tell us it's women 25 to 35 and let us find who it is that they follow. I think this is a great area to test to see how Facebook does this. However, what I will caution you, if you decide to use broad audiences like that, is that you really, really get to focus on your copy and your creative and make sure that they are speaking to and calling out your ideal audience. So if your ideal audience is entrepreneurs and you're doing this broad reach, you want to make sure in your copy or in your headline somewhere it says the word entrepreneur, so that these people know that you're actually talking to them. And it may be a great thing to also do in your video or your image or whatever. So just make sure that if you choose to allow Facebook to do the heavy lifting, that you are providing them with as much information as possible to make that as effective as possible for you. Letting Facebook do the heavy lifting will allow you to get that data faster than you trying to figure it out on your own. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about is minimum ad spend. So a lot of people ask how much I should spend. And this is what I will say. A minimum of $10 per day per ad set. So every ad set, every different audience that you are testing needs to have $10 going towards it. So if you want to test 3 to 5 audiences, you're looking at $30 to $50 a day. Now that's the minimum you should do. I do have clients where we're using a lot more than that, $40, $50 per ad set, and that just depends on their budget and really the end product. What you want to keep in mind is that you want to be able to spend at least as much as your product, service, or solution costs. So if you have a $3,000 course, expect to spend at least $3,000 a month in ad spend. If you have a $10,000 course or program, expect to spend at least $10,000 a month in ad spend. And I say this because the higher your cost is of your course, the more leads you need to come in the door, because a lot of times these leads are cold and you have to take the time to warm them up to get them to the sales point, which means that you need a vast amount of leads coming in order to really turn them over into clients. When you are thinking about running ads, please keep in mind that this is a long-term investment. Starting ads and turning them off are not going to be effective. It's not going to get you the results you're looking for. You want to be able to spend on ads for a long term, 3, 6, 12 months, at least have the money set aside to do it for at minimum 90 days to really get the information and start getting those returns back in when it comes to your ads. Always keep in mind that Facebook ads are a supplement to your marketing. They should never be your only form of marketing. There are 1,000 ways to market your business, and we'll continue to go into those ways in later episodes. However, I will say that paid traffic, especially Facebook ads, speeds up the process, right? It gets you in front of more people. It teaches you really fast whether that funnel that you created works or not. You can give it 30, 60 days, and if you're not getting anything from that funnel, you know that you have some problems on the funnel itself, whether it's the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, whatever portion of the funnel is a problem. You'll get that data much faster than if you're trying to do this organically. The last part of this episode I really wanted to cover was the few things that you need to have in place before you run ads. 1, you must identify a goal before you run ads. You have to know what the first and the final step will be before you start running ads. Otherwise, there's no point to it. I have seen ads out there that really do not go anywhere. You're just throwing money at Facebook at that point. So make sure that you identify the goal and that the goal correlates with the type of ad you're running. 2, map out your funnel. Have every step in the customer journey outlined so that you know where ads can come in and support. There are different types of ads, and you are able to support that customer journey using those different types of ads, whether that's cold traffic at the top of the funnel or it's retargeting traffic at the middle to the bottom of the funnel. You need to have each step laid out so that you know what type of ads you're able to run. 3, know your audience. Know them inside and out. Know what they like to do. Know what they like to read. Know how they like to be communicated with. know who they follow. All of those pieces are essential when you are creating audiences on Facebook or any other paid traffic platform. You must know your audience in depth. And 4, make sure to have your copy and creative highlighted and defined in a way that actually speaks to your audience and connects with them. Now, obviously, that takes some testing. I'm not going to say that this happens immediately. Sometimes it does. For some of our clients, we throw out an ad with a headline, with a image, and it kills, like it just slays. Other times, it takes some work. Also, make sure that you have different creatives and copies when you're going into running ads, because you're going to want to test different ones, and you're also going to want to, at some point, swap them out. There does come a point when your cost per lead start to increase that changing out the copy and the creative will help to reset that and start bringing in those leads at a lower cost point. So always make sure that you are keeping an eye on how the ad is working based off of your copy and creatives. And please make sure that you have a call to action in every piece of your copy. Here's the reality. If you don't have a call to action, if you're not telling them what to do, they're not going to do anything. And then you're just wasting money. I've seen a lot of people who start DIYing their ads, and they will run an ad to one of their posts, but their post doesn't tell anybody, like, click here or do this thing or comment or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to take them off of the platform. It doesn't necessarily have to do something like them buying, but it must tell them to do something, some kind of engagement, some kind of watch this video or sign up for whatever it is. Make sure that you have a call to action in your copy. The last 2 pieces are actually for after you start running ads. You want to, and I've said this at least 4 times during this episode, make sure that you are testing. Test your copy, test your creative, test your audiences, test your copy to specific audiences, test your creative to specific audiences, test headlines. There are so many pieces of Facebook that you want to be testing, of paid ads in general. Make sure that you are testing and trying out different things to see what is going to work and be effective. Without testing, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Make sure that you are tracking your performance. Your data is the best thing that you get from Facebook. If you can look at it and understand what it is it's telling you, you are better able to pivot your ads, pivot your funnel, pivot your creative, whatever that thing is that shows up in the data. It's really going to help you to accelerate your business growth faster. So make sure that you are tracking every piece of your funnel and every piece of your ad so that you know what's working and what's not. The last thing we want to do is give Facebook money just to give them money, right? The whole point of this is to grow our business, increase our revenue, and scale our impact. If you want to run Facebook ads and you are still struggling to figure out how, or if your marketing is not quite where you want it to be, I would love to hop on a call with you and help you to get to that point in your business where everything is working like a well-oiled machine. Head over to yourmarketingmatchmaker.com and sign up for a free 30-minute call.
Thank you for listening to the Marketing Matchmaker podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear your feedback. Please head over to iTunes and leave a review so we can hear from you. And if you are a coach, consultant, or online course creator who are looking to grow your business, increase your income, and scale your impact, connect with me at yourmarketingmatchmaker.com. I look forward to hearing from you.